Hi everyone, it is Witchathon day one and I wanted to blog this experience the way I did with Queer Lit Readathon and Smuttathon, and so it's day one and I haven't yet started reading anything. I had my sister and her partner over for breakfast, and then I had an appointment and get ready because I have a graduation and then a dinner to go to today. But I have a little bit of time right now, and so I'm gonna pick what book to read first. So let me take you along. All right, so I am keeping the books that potential reads for Witchathon here. So we've got The Proposal, 99% Mine, and Certain Dark Things. Then Rebel Soul and Jane Steele. I'm thinking about one of these two, or maybe I should start with 99% Mine. I want to start off with something that'll be a little bit quicker, as Certain Dark Things I want to spend some time with. Let's start with 99% Mine. See how that goes. Meet Sean and Dora, who give me great book recommendations. And that looks good. And meet John. And meet my poutine. It's day 3 of Witchathon, and I did finish one book last night. My first one, 99% Mine by Thorne. And I've got complex feelings about this book. I like Sally Thorne's writing a lot, but this story didn't quite work for me. So I'm trying to decide what kind of rating to give it. Like 3 stars is the most I could give it, but it's probably falls a little below that because they were one of the characters, the main characters, Darcy's brother. I hated the relationship. I think it was toxic and really bad. And Sally tries to make it kind of okay at the end, in that there's some changes and things like that, but it still didn't sit right with me. So anyway, gotta marinate a little bit more with this story and see what rating I will ultimately give it. I don't want to be unfair to the book. Like, it's not the hating game, and that's perfectly okay. There were parts of the story I really liked. I think the chemistry between the 2 main characters was done really well. Sally Thorne's does the chemistry and the sexual tension build up really nicely. But again, there was kind of major things within the story and some of the characters that did not sit well with me at all. I found it to be a bit abusive and not healthy. But we'll see. For now, I'm going to move on to Rebel Soul. So it looks like it's a sci-fi fantasy set in Seoul, South Korea. Futuristic. So I'm kind of excited for that one. So we'll see how that goes. Hi everyone, I'm counting on this being a good angle here, but I did finish reading Rebel Soul last night. Today's Tuesday, and I have to say it took me about 50 to 60 pages to really get into the story and care about what was happening. But once I got into it, it's a fast-paced book. There's tons of plot, tons of things happening with just little pieces of breathers in there. It's really cool. My laundry just went on. I liked the story. The way they sold it in the jacket is that it was Pacific Rim meets Korean action dramas. The Pacific Rim elements are definitely there, but I think they're more minor. At least in this book. It's a duology, and the second book is coming out in 2019, so this year, and I will pick it up. I'm definitely got super into the story, and it was a really fast read. So I think once it comes out, I will get it from my library again, since I got this one from my library. But definitely a really cool story, a world that where I can see like a lot of possibilities for. Like I like to explore the world that this takes place in. It's like you know, post-apocalyptic, but there's been a huge war where like centralized political units are now the thing. And they're fighting against nationalists who kind of want to go back to national borders the way they existed before. But this like one ruling body, unified body, seems to be really repressive. So I like, and there's like all kinds of global dynamics that are hinted at. And so I'm like, there's a whole lot to explore in this world. So yeah, very intrigued, very good dystopian YA set in Seoul. Okay, I'm back. Witchathon just ended, and I did manage to finish one additional book, Jane Steele. I actually ended up returning the physical book to the library and instead getting the ebook from my library, which ended up being a really good switch because I started reading it in the physical copy and I was just not getting into it. Once I picked up the ebook, then it moved a lot faster, but still I have to say that it took me a good like 36% of the way through it to really like, okay, figure out what the book was. Once I figured out what it was, that it wasn't a like straight Jane Eyre retelling. It was, it like uses the narrative arc of Jane Eyre, but it's really about murder. It's not even. It's a bit of one of those like, it's a book that includes elements of lots of different genres, and I can see why a lot of people or some people liked this book a lot. For me, so I was figuring out the book about 36% of the way through, and then it kind of, for a few more chapters, it was that, and then it switches, like it does in Jane Eyre, right? It switches to kind of the mansion subplot or plot, and some of that was really interesting, some of it was really boring to me. The writing style of the author was at times very descriptive, very lyrical, in a very heavy-handed way. Like it felt like, look, literary writing. But that was not a style that was sustained throughout the entire book. Like I felt like most of the book, the writing style was kind of an attempt to capture the mood and feel of London in the 1900s. I did appreciate there are, unlike a lot of classics, British classics, that the empire comes into play here in a very prominent way. But I don't necessarily think it was in a meaningful way. So it's there, it's prominent, it's a big part of second half of the story, but I'm not sure if it's meaningful. It was really that meaningful, and it's not a book about the empire, so it didn't need to be. It was just one of those things that as a historian I noticed, and so I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Like, it's a solid book. There are really good elements in there, and there are other boring elements. So leave it at that. I'll probably have, my thoughts will be a little more clear for the wrap up, I hope. But in the meantime, let's recap. Okay, so Witchathon, I did pretty decently, I think. I read 3 books, and I didn't finish the other 2. I didn't finish Certain Dark Things, which I have back here, and I didn't finish or start The Proposal, which I'm going to roll over for Summerathon. And I also did pick up the group read for Witchathon's Summer Assault, and I'm just going to be using it for Summerathon. But overall, I really enjoyed Witchathon. I enjoyed seeing everybody's videos and progress online. And thank you so much for following along with me. See you in the next one.